In today's episode, we review all-star movies, La Nouba, and a whole lot of food.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
You are listening to the Main Street Magic Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy Stein and John Marone.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and while I'm not joined by John Marone tonight, I am joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Good evening.
In today's episode, we're bringing you another monthly trip review where we talk all-star movies, La Nouba, and of course, food. Please check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter on mainstmagic. So we are coming off the heels of another trip just this past weekend, and this time we ended up staying at All-Star Movie Resort. And Rhonda's already laughing and rolling her eyes a bit because as we went up to this trip, we have not stayed at All-Star Movies in, I'd say, over a year. And so we weren't really looking forward to it. But I think after this trip, we still enjoyed it a little bit more than we thought we would you say?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so basically how this weekend worked out, we're going to go from Thursday to a Sunday. This was coming on Veterans Day weekend, which originally the kids had out on Friday, and due to Hurricane Irma, they had a makeup day. So they were supposed to go to school on Friday. We decided we were not changing our plans, and we still took them out of school. But I decided that Thursday I would head down on my own a little bit earlier to check out Hollywood Studios, spend some time there, and then Rhonda would pick the kids up after school and go ahead and bring them down that evening. So I headed down to Hollywood Studios that morning after the kids got on the bus, and I just spent the day kind of like a guy in a park by himself enjoying the rides and everything that there is to offer. And one of the things I finally got to do was try out the Brown Derby Lounge, which I know John has recommended on a previous show as one of the kind of hidden gems of Hollywood Studios as far as food goes. So I went in, I sat outside, had the pork belly, enjoyed, you can actually see a Galaxy Far, Far Away stage show at Hollywood Studios there, right in front of the Chinese Theater. As you're sitting outside of the Brown Derby, which was pretty cool. Pork belly was delicious. They're mostly looking at appetizers. So the food was great. The people watching is perfect. And I went ahead and kind of finished up the day, did a couple rides on my own, and headed back to the hotel. So we were already checked in online, and room was ready real early that morning that we got notice. So I headed over to All-Star Movies, or so I thought. So this is one of the things I think with the All-Star Resorts is because all three are in a line. Like, I think we asked each other 5-6 times leading up which one we were staying at.
Well, and when you pull up the guard gate, it's all three of them.
Yes.
It's not like it's, one, and then you pull up to another guard gate and it's two. You pull up to the guard gate and you have to go through and find your hotel.
Yeah, and it's all three in a line, and I think it's music, sports, movies. I think we were the last one because we were staying at
last one.
Movies. So I have the car. I had already packed everything because I was going to... My whole goal was, yes, I was going to go down there and enjoy some time by myself. I was going to do some research for the show. But I was also going to get into the room, have everything unloaded, have clothes unpacked in the drawers, so that when you guys showed up later that evening, you didn't have to worry about unpacking the car and we could just start having fun.
Right. And plus, we didn't get out of Jacksonville until 4 p.m.?
Correct. Yeah. So I drive down, I get checked in, my mind is just everywhere. I'm waiting for you to send me the message that you guys are on your way. And I pull up, and you give me the room number, because we're checked in online. I park outside of the building. I load a book bag, about 2 suitcases. I'm hauling all this stuff up to the room area. We're going to be on the 3rd floor. And I'm looking at the room numbers and notice in the span I don't see our room numbers. And that's when I quickly realized I'm not at All-Star Movies, I'm at All-Star Sports. So I load everything, I take everything back to the car, put it in the car, drive down to movies, then we're all set. So we end up getting unloaded, and I head back to Hollywood Studios, and you guys drive straight there to meet me.
Yes.
Which worked out really well because we actually got to take in the first night of Sunset Season's Greetings.
Which was awesome.
It was incredible. So, Sunset Season's Greeting is the new show. Now that Osborne Lights is gone, and it's been gone, this is year 2.
Tear.
I know. They're really making up for it by putting as much holiday decor as they can in Hollywood Studios. So we end up on Sunset Boulevard as you're staring at the Tower of Terror, and this is where this whole projection takes place.
And my youngest daughter noticed it even before we were into the park. We were walking, and she was like, "Look at Tower of Terror!" And I had no idea, no clue that that's where Sunset was.
It starts at 7 p.m. It's a continuous showing. So there's 4 different aspects to it. And that is they have a Mickey and Minnie section. They have a Toy Story, Muppets with Swedish Chef is kind of the main character. And then they have Olaf's Frozen Adventure. And each piece, I would say, was, 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, just a few minutes because there's a screen, and then a few minutes there you watch like a quote-unquote little tiny show, and then it goes on to Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
So, yeah, total 5 minutes maybe.
And in addition, there's snow.
Oh, yeah.
There are the lights that are... Every light pole down Sunset Boulevard is decorated, like very old school retro, like you used to see, I guess, at the shopping malls or going down, like, again, old Main Street USA type of deal. So, I'm a big fan of projections. You know that. I think you kind of like them. This is pretty much, for the most part, projection only. And then there's a little bit of the intro, like you said, LED screens that they've now installed on top of the buildings. But what did you compare this to as far as holiday shows or even just nighttime shows at a park?
Oh, well, I mean, the projection was amazing. You have the castle that does that, and it's like they've brought it over to now Hollywood, and it was awesome. It was neat because you could see the things, and there was small little, I think it was Toy Story it happened where it said Hollywood Toy of something. Hotel, or
yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah. I loved it. I loved it. My kids loved it. The snow. I mean, of course, Christmas is so magical. So
yeah. Well, and what I thought was really cool was that it's continuous. So you unlike a lot of the shows, obviously, you've got to make sure you're there at the dead set time. And you got to be there, 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour prior to a parade, to a fireworks show, to all these other things.
Yeah, so really you don't have a ton of people standing in your way.
No. And
the kids could see it.
And even great. This was opening night that we went. Like, it was the first night it was premiering, short of what they had done for a pass holder preview. So I was pretty impressed with the way that went. So we finished up there, and again, I think we will both completely recommend that you check this out and catch it at any time. I would say if you had to go through all 4 scenes, you're probably still only tapped out at maybe 30 minutes with a little bit of intermission in between each 5-minute showing. So, so, I mean, that's not too bad if you want to park yourself in anywhere down Sunset Boulevard is going to be perfect. Now, what I'd be interested to do when we go back next month is what are the chances we can get on Tower of Terror during that time period? So I want to go back and look at our fast passes because I know we'll spend some time at Hollywood Studios next month. How cool would that be up there? Like, I wonder what it looks like. Do you even notice a difference? Or
yeah, I was looking for the people because I was like, is it running? I didn't know if it was. And then
all of a sudden you'd see the door open.
Only at one point, though.
Right.
The rest of it, I did not.
I didn't see a lot. So. Yeah, that's true. So maybe we might try and check that out next trip. But so from there we decided we would this was right after 7 or so we knew that Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam was playing at 8 p.m., and that's on the Chinese Theater, and you need that perfect spot in front of the Chinese Theater if you really want to see this whole show. And again, if you don't know what that is, it's more projection, but it is more in the line of projection, fireworks, and lasers. So it's a full, almost, I mean, it's not 360 experience, but it's like a 180 experience. You're seeing stuff from, all the way to your left, all the way to your right. We're talking, several hundred yards of display and fireworks and everything. So we decided we would try out a few of the holiday offerings that they had at, a couple of the locations of the quick service locations. So as we look to make take our spot and find a good place to watch Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, we picked up the hot chocolate flight, which is at Min and Bill's Diner there, right on Echo Lake.
And this is for adults only.
Yes, this is totally adults only, which includes a hot chocolate martini, a Bailey's salted caramel hot chocolate, and a black cherry bourbon hot chocolate. We picked up the Preppin' Landing themed gingerbread cupcake, and we got an apple cranberry cobbler. Now, again, first night of Sunset Season's Greeting, and really since they've had the holiday display, so this was packed. And you could tell the cast members that were working were completely overwhelmed. So we would find our first of many moments of Disney magic this weekend. So as I'm waiting in line, you guys are finding a spot. I order these 3 items, and it is taking forever. And I'm watching them make a dozen other hot chocolate flights.
And actually, as you were in line, Kaylin and I were going to buy the popcorn because they had this adorable little keepsake popcorn holder, which is Pluto in a sweater vest with a bone. Oh my God, so cute. And we had to have it. So we went to one line, and it was seriously so long that a cast member was coming to us telling us there's more over there, which is actually, in my small opinion, closer to the Chinese Theater.
Yes.
And honestly, when they did the preview of the movie, Pixar, I think it is, before Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, I thought we had a perfect spot, but we stood there in line. I mean, these lines were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. And you're right. And so you guys, we kind of separated for that. So we weren't going to end up getting the spot we wanted, but as they took forever to get the hot chocolate flight in the cupcakes, the guy puts 2 cupcakes in front of me in the hot chocolate flight, and I said, thank you so much, but I just, I got 1 cupcake and I got the cobbler. And he turned around and he got the cobbler and he handed it to me, and he said, basically like, you got 2 cupcakes, man. So I just said, thank you so much. Like, I mean, he could tell that he knew that the lines were long and things weren't going as everybody had planned. I'm sure for him as well. They were understaffed. But so again, free cupcake. Not bad. So we went and we found our spot. We started eating popcorn. We started drinking hot chocolate flights. We started eating cupcakes. We started eating cobbler. If you're going to be there over the holiday season, I would definitely say get those cupcakes. They were gingerbread cupcakes. They were incredible. Like cream cheese icing.
Oh my gosh, they were
amazing.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Glad we got 2.
Yes, we were. Yeah, because between the 4 of us, I mean, we devoured those. Hot chocolate flight was very good. You can either get the flight, which I think was about $11 for the 3 small samples. They're probably 4 or 5 ounces, which is cool. Just presentation-wise, it's neat. But overall, you can pick one if you wanted to get a full-size drink. And I think we both agreed on the salted caramel was like, that was the way to go.
Absolutely.
So, again, if you're going to do that, I would go that route. We barely got to the cobbler, I think, until we were actually almost leaving.
But it was good. I think because
it was slightly forgettable, but I think it was also not warm anymore.
Well, and I think because it was the last thing we ate.
Yeah.
Those gingerbread cupcakes.
They were
just
amazing.
Was disappointing because anything you'd eat after was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And not really, but, it just wasn't as good. I thought the cobbler was very tasty. It was very good for a cobbler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was forgettable, but again, it wasn't wonderful because we had those amazing cupcakes.
We're going to talk about the cupcakes. And we will get them next time we go back, I'm sure. But so we sat there. We had a. This is the issue with them doing giant projections all over all of the Chinese theater and the surrounding buildings. Is there are a lot of trees? If you are not dead center, and there's a small pathway that they rope off between right in front of the Chinese theater and where the Star Wars Galaxy Far, Far Away stage would be. They rope off maybe a 5-6 foot deep path, and then they start again going down, heading towards the entrance of the park. Those are the two spots you want to be. Every time we've been there for a show, and it's normally been the Star Wars, spectacular at the end of the night, there's usually that guy that is there with the little loudspeaker, and he's doing trivia, and he's interacting.
It's awesome, too.
It is absolutely amazing. But if you go, you can go 20 feet left, you can go 20 feet right, and you're behind a tree. And it's
but the reason he's
downfall.
there, too, is because my parents and I do believe you were out of town. We went, and we sat there for an hour and a half. I really don't remember the timeline.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get them a great seat, and we actually got right by him. And he's there to help that time go by because you're just sitting there.
Yeah, you are.
For that spot.
And he's crowd controlling, and he's making sure people are sitting where they're supposed to be. But you're right. He really is. He's pre-show entertainment before pre-show entertainment.
Absolutely.
So if you can get those spots, you want to get there early. But it's tough because now with Sunset Season's greeting, now I don't know if they'll bump up the time. We've obviously had the time change. It's getting dark at, I feel like 2 in the afternoon or something. But if Sunset Season's greeting is not starting till 7, and you want to catch that, then you need to immediately head to Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. Maybe you check out the hot chocolate flight and the gingerbread cupcakes earlier in the day so you're not waiting in line so you get a perfect spot. But Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is amazing. We're talking about the Prep and Landing TV series that Disney has put out that comes out every holiday season. So you got 2 30-minute specials that'll, again, you're going to catch them real soon. It's geared around that, but it includes so much holiday Disney decor and so many different, Jack Skellington's in it.
Kaylin's favorite line was, I think this is a nightmare. Before Christmas was between the Prep and Landing guys. Yeah. And then, of course, Jack Skellington comes into it and Oogie Boogie, and it was just it's so good. It is good.
And it's one of those shows because of the broad aspect of it. You can see it multiple times, and one time maybe you're watching everything on the left, maybe another time you're watching everything on the right, another time you're watching everything in the center. There is so much to see. So if you can check out Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, you have to do it. So we finished up that day. This was already our Thursday. It's only day 1. And next morning, we decided to head to Epcot. We're on the heels of Food and Wine Festival at this point. So went to Food and Wine Fest. It was, I don't want to say a nightmare, but it was busy. Very, very busy. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking 2-3 days before the last day of Food and Wine. So we did our normal, and I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. If you want to plan a great day at Epcot and try and hit at least 2 of the big 3 rides on the Tier 1 system, you make either a Fast Pass for Test Track or a Fast Pass for Frozen Ever After. I'd say somewhere between 10 and 11. You get there for Rope Drop, and you immediately book it to Soarin'. So we do this every single time we go to Epcot. We're in Soarin', we're walking on the ride, usually about 9:15, 9:20, and by the time we're walking back out, it's already at a 50-minute wait, when we just spent 10 minutes.
This trip, I'm pretty sure we walked off of Soarin' at 9:10 or so.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got there. That's right. We got there. We worked work your way all the way to the right, kind of snake around everybody on the far right of Spaceship Earth, and as soon as they dropped that rope, just
it was early too.
Yes.
Because I remember walking through, and it was like 9:01, and we literally walked all the way through. We didn't stop.
Yeah.
So that was a great morning for that.
It was absolutely perfect. So I'm not going to talk about Food and Wine Fest again. We've talked about this a million times. We didn't eat a ton of stuff there, but we made our normal rounds. We enjoyed everything. But so one thing we did recently on Facebook is I put out asking some questions for listeners. Like what questions did they have for us that they would like us to answer? And we had several inquiries, but I wanted to start the first one now on this episode, and I'll be real interested to have the same question with John when him and I do another show here soon. So one of the questions, and we got it from two different people, but it was pretty much the same question. So I'm going to answer it the first time, and I'm going to let you answer it the second time when we talk about All-Star dessert in a little bit. So the question is basically, and we got it from Christina Walrath, and we got it from Susan Reiner on Facebook. And the question was basically, what has a cast member done where they went out of their way and they made your trip even more magical? So we're at Epcot, and we're making our way through, and we're ending up about at Canada. And we're going to end the day at Canada before we go back to the hotel. And so we're sitting there. So first of all, Canada has a great little shop with just like out of sort items. They have all these great T-shirts that have hilarious sayings, about beer and Canada and food. And so we sit there, and they have bracelets that you can customize, and you can get them engraved with your name, and they'll add a special little like Disney pin or button. So the girls want that. Well, $13, we're just thinking, why don't we get one? And you guys can split it. You can kind of share it back and forth. Going to Disney every month, we have to be very careful about what we spend on, souvenirs. So
this was Lacey's money too.
This was Lacey
was buying
money.
this.
She was the one that really wanted
own.
it. Correct. So we said okay, and we always give her the talk like, "Are you sure you want it? You sure you want it? Okay."
It was a smart decision on
It
our
was.
part because it was a bracelet. It wasn't something that would just go away.
Right, not another stuffed animal, which we have a million of. So she decides she's going to get their kind of monikers, which are Kaylin is KK and Lacey is Lace. So they decide they'll kind of share this bracelet that Lacey's going to pay for, and they're going to put KK and Lace on it. And they pick out a Tinkerbell pin or button that will attach to it. So our cast member Stuart goes to work. And he types everything up on the computer. We get to review it. He puts the bracelet in the machine. It starts to basically engrave it into this leather, which I guess isn't engraving, but it's whatever it's called. So it finishes, and he looks at it, and he puts the button on, and Stuart's not happy with it. Like it's off a little bit, and part of
it
the
almost covered
pin
up the E.
was coming right.
And he asked if
from the pin.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And he asked us if that was fine. And again, it's for our children, and she's paying for it. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So he made the first one, and before he put the button on, he looked at the button, and it just wouldn't work. So he completely then made another one.
Yes.
And then put the button on, and it kind of covered the E a little bit. And he was like, is this okay? And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, really, you can still see it. And the whole point of getting the button was to show that it was Disney, because the bracelet, other than that, had no indication it was Disney.
Right.
So we're like, yeah, that's fine. Well, then he had this other bracelet, and I'm like thinking, what's he gonna do with that? So then I was doing something else, and then you were noticing. Yeah.
So we looked to pay, and we ended up buying Kaylin a full head to toe onesie with a semi back flap that said Merry Christmas pajamas. So all this is going on, and yeah, I noticed that Stuart is over there with the bad bracelet working on it. And again, yeah, you mentioned to me like, I wonder if he's going to give that to us. And I'm like, I don't know. So somebody else rings us up, and I see Stuart standing in the background, and we turn around. Girls are as happy as can be. Kaylin got her head-to-toe onesie. Lacey got her bracelet that she's going to share with her sister. And Stuart just reaches over and hands to us the original bracelet and says, here you go. And as far as I'm concerned, it looked perfectly fine.
Well, he also put another Tinkerbell button on it.
He did. And a different one than the one that we got on the original bracelet.
Correct.
So, and I could tell, like, we were so thankful, and we thanked him so much. I could tell in his face that, like, he enjoyed doing that as much as we enjoyed receiving that special kind of magic.
And the girls, Kaylin was just shocked. She was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it was just magic all around.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. So this is wrapping up our Friday morning at this time. We end up about 2 p.m. We head back to the hotel, and we're getting dressed, and we're getting ready to head to Disney Springs because we are going to La Nouba. So La Nouba, as everybody knows, I hope, is ending December 31st. We don't know what is coming back into that Cirque du Soleil theater. We've talked about this on the show. We mentioned the last trip review. We went ahead and bought tickets. We got a great deal. We got great seats. John gave us the advice we needed, and we went to La Nouba. And okay, give me 3 words that would describe La Nouba to you. You have to count 3 words.
Breathtaking. Incredible.
That's 3. Or is breathtaking 1 word?
I'm going to count it as 1 word.
Okay, so you get 1 more word.
And chill, whatever that word is.
That'll work. We'll take that. It was amazing. Like, I used to think, when we would always talk about this before, John's seen it like 6 times. And I was like, I bet it's good. But why would you see it 6 times?
Now we know why.
We left the theater, and you literally were like, can we get tickets when we come back in December?
I remember looking at you like, why is this the first time we've seen this?
I know.
I just hope something else comes back. And as soon, or when it does, and whatever it is, if it is Cirque du Soleil, we are going.
We are totally
in
going
the beginning.
Yes. And
we're not waiting.
Again and again and again. So, category 2, I know by the time this episode airs, you have little over a month to get tickets, and there's some great deals going on. Get tickets.
For Florida residents.
Yeah. Well, or Visa card holders. We know Disney Visa card holders are really good deals. Get tickets. It was like, we're big fans of America's Got Talent. And this was like taking every incredible finalist from America's Got Talent and multiplying it, I felt like, times 10 and putting it into a show. It was like America's Got Talent on crack. Like, is that accurate? I don't know.
Sure. It was just
it was amazing because every scene, while they may have been, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, I think I could have watched each individual performer for the whole hour and a half. But instead, you got dozens of incredible performances within that. And then when you get down to basically the finale, it was just amazing. And there's a live band. Like, we went halfway through the show. I didn't even know the whole band was live playing the music. Yeah. And you pointed it out to me. Yeah. You're like, hey, look up there. Look up at that side. Look up at that side. It was just unbelievable.
Well done.
Yes, very, very. So we absolutely loved it. I would recommend, again, we got a little over a month left. Go see it if you're going to be there. So after that, we headed to the one disappointment of the trip. So we had reservations for Frontera Cocina at Disney Springs. And this was recommended by John, and I will not fault him for that because he's a big Rick Bayless fan, and I'm not saying that this
Even
is
his
the
wife,
norm.
Michelle,
Yes.
they both.
Yes.
So this.
I don't believe this is the norm for what we experienced that evening. I simply,
Yes.
I know it's not the
Right.
norm. But I think, unfortunately, our experience that night with all of the amazing restaurants at Disney Springs, we're not going to rush back to give it a second chance.
No, unfortunately, we're not. And I mean, I think again, a lot of that had to play into with the waiter.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately he felt like he wanted to run away from us.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, do we smell? Like, what's wrong with us?
Yeah.
And then it took a little while, which we looked around and yeah, it was kind of busy, but
It wasn't that bad.
really
Yeah.
didn't understand why. It took a little bit to get some drinks or anything like that. And then now this is where my opinion is differ, because I am not a big food person. I don't give me some good food, that's fine. I'm not that person to say, oh my gosh, this was so bad or so whatever. But I will say that this was, if you're supposed to be more better and higher, this was to me just, hey, we have a Mexican restaurant right around the corner called Cinco de Mayo, and that's exactly what it tasted like. I mean, there was nothing above and beyond. There was nothing where I was like, oh my God, this is so good. It was just, in my opinion, should have been cheap Mexican food, and it was not cheap.
Yeah.
And it was, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and I kept saying, everything it tasted like it was off of the shelf at a grocery store. And you're right. It'd be one thing if the price was, $3 appetizers and $10 meals. It was not. I mean, we spent quite a bit of money that night for food that we thought was very subpar. Now, I will say the atmosphere was incredible. We sat outside.
Yeah, we did get outside. That was the best part of it.
Yeah.
To be truthfully honest.
And we made the best of it. I mean, it was after Nouba, which we loved. We sat there, we talked about it. We were just so underwhelmed and unimpressed with the food. And when I say I'm not impressed with food, you'll normally kind of roll your eyes because
he's
for
hard.
me,
You're hard
yes,
to.
I am.
You're hard.
But I love to cook, and I often know the price of something that I can make at home and have it taste amazing. But when you were even this wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good. It's not just
Right.
me. So, but let's move on past that, because we don't, we don't want to be too negative, and I will certainly give this place another try. I don't see that it'll be anytime soon, because there's so many restaurants at Disney Springs.
And if we did do it again, I would love to go with John and Michelle.
Oh, we're going to go with John and Michelle, and we're going to let them pick our food out. I'll pay.
I'm sure
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll quote you on that one.
So anyway, so went back to the hotel. Next day, we spent an amazing day and morning at Magic Kingdom. And we decided right as we were wrapping up Magic Kingdom, we knew they were building the gingerbread house already at Grand Floridian. So we thought, let's head over to Grand Floridian. We'll take the monorail. We're already here. Let's check out the gingerbread house. Now, we know next month, we've talked about this the last resort hopping episode, that we're doing the ultimate holiday resort hop in December. Rhonda knows a little bit about it. I don't think she knows exactly what that day is going to entail, but we're going to be all over the place. But I thought, let's go check out the gingerbread house. We've never stepped foot into the Grand Floridian before this. So we took the loop around, ended up at Grand Floridian. The only thing that was done was the gingerbread house. There were no other decorations, but how was gingerbread house? I mean,
it was incredible.
Yeah.
I could live in it.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. Smelled amazing. And it was gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, and then they hadn't even opened the shop yet, so they'll end up opening a shop inside of it where they'll sell the gingerbread and gingerbread houses. But we decided to head upstairs.
There was only one.
Well, yeah. So we decided to head upstairs to Meisner's Lounge, have a drink. So we walk in, which is we had not been there. It was smaller than I thought. Obviously, it's Grand Floridian, so it's pretty fancy. So we walk in with Kaylin, who is head to toe in her Canadian pajamas, which she decided to wear to Magic Kingdom that day, with the butt flap that says Merry Christmas on it, and her Mickey ears, Santa hat, and then she's got Pluto, the big popcorn bucket, hanging off of her. But I don't feel like anybody stared at us or treated us differently.
No, in fact, there was every time I looked, they were like, "Oh my gosh, look, that's so cool! Oh my goodness,
yeah.
Oh my gosh!"
They loved her pajamas.
Oh,
Everybody loves her
did.
pajamas that day. So yeah, our only regret is not getting 3 other pairs for the rest of the family. But so coolest thing. So it was a cool spot, and we love just to sit and relax and have a drink. So you got a glass of wine, I got a beer, and
Girls got a Shirley Temple.
Yeah, Shirley Temples, and again, Disney is going to give you the magic. So the bartender makes the Shirley Temple for the girls, gives them both a skewer of cherries, which they love. So again,
and 2 Mickey straws.
Yes, and 2 Mickey straws, which if you're looking at pricing, those are 69 cents each at anywhere else. Don't put them in your dishwasher, or they turn into really, really crazy straws. But so we're sitting there. When we first walked in, we noticed a wedding was going on.
Yes.
And next
we
thing
walked, I felt like down the grand.
Oh yeah, the grand stairway, right?
And of course, we have 2 daughters, so look at the bride, and I mean these people, those dresses,
they're decked out.
I mean, wow.
And I vaguely noticed. Okay, I'm like, all right. First of all, you're getting married at the Grand Floridian.
So you always have a video.
You're gonna have video. You're gonna have
if
camera.
not a couple of them.
But as we're sitting up in Meisner's Lounge, what do you look out the window and see?
Cinderella's carriage and 2, 4, 6, 8 white horses, a footman, I was like, holy crap. Yeah. I mean, what is going on?
So we find out, and we hear it through everybody else talking, they're filming the Disney Fairy Tale Wedding Special that's going to air on Freeform here at the end of November. So we stare out the window. At this point, everybody's collecting around the windows as the bride walks out, and she gets in again. Yeah, Cinderella's
carriage.
Yeah, carriage. And the horses trot off, and like we're watching this be filmed for this special at the end of the month, which was just so cool. Like the way you can just walk into certain Disney magic is, I don't know, it's crazy. So it'll be very cool to see that at the end of the month and know that we were there to kind of witness that.
We'll have to record it.
Yeah, definitely. So we make our way back to All-Star Movies, which I think at this point we're understanding that this is not as bad as a resort as everyone makes it out to be. It is a value resort. It is simple, but it is very well priced. You get Disney magic. I'm one of the few that says I prefer this room layout to the new Pop Century layout.
I agree.
Short of there not being queen beds. If they could upgrade it and have 2 queen beds, boom, we're set.
If they could upgrade it, if they could upgrade just a few things, but keep really almost the layout the same, I agree. And honestly, I do have to agree with you. It's not as bad as a resort. And honestly, I think the reason it didn't make it as bad is because our really good friend, Christina, she, one time when we were together at Disney, said something about they don't ever ride the bus. And she was telling me reasons why. And I'm thinking, why not? Why would you not want to ride the bus? Well, honestly, the last couple of times we didn't hardly ride the buses.
We've been driving a lot.
And I'll be honest, because we drove this last trip a lot, it was simple, and it was great, and it was, thank you, Christina. So yeah, I'd be okay with staying there again, especially with, the price point. And then especially if we could do other things with that money, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and so we ended up going to the pool. Kids got in the pool, loved the pool.
Well, it's heated.
Yeah, and
us Floridians, I'm not getting in.
I'm not getting in either.
But my children are.
You're out there in a sweatshirt and a hood.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids are in the pool. But
I do believe it's heated to 80. I believe they told me between 78 to 80, I believe. Yeah. Which, again, I'm a true Floridian, so that is still cold to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not getting in. But again, the pool activities, they have the same pool activities everywhere else. We got there at the end, but they were, they're doing the tie-dye shirts and socks and whatever else. And they're doing the trivia, and they're doing the music, and they're doing the hula hoop contest. And there's ping pong. Kaylin and I went and played ping pong. And so there's still so much to offer at these value resorts. And whether you go, once in a lifetime or you go once a month like us, there's something to be said about saving all that money at where you're staying compared to, some of the upper level hotels where you're going to spend a whole lot more. We've even talked now about our normal July trip for your birthday and Lacey's birthday. All right, would we rather just go for a week and stay at All-Star? Or do we go 3 or 4 nights and stay at a moderate or deluxe? So that's something we might come down to. But so we enjoyed the pool. We decided to grab the kids' dinner and brought it back to the room so they could eat. And then you and I took our own little dinner trip down to get some food. And I had seen online about a secret menu. You, I don't think, believed me at first.
I did not. I will be honest.
So I say to Ron, I say, all
whatever.
right, we're going to go down and we're going to get the secret menu. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I am not the outspoken one between the two of us. Like I'm the one, that makes Rhonda call to order pizza or Chinese food like we did tonight. I'm not a big fan of talking to people, which is surprising because I'm hosting a podcast. But so I tell Rhonda this, and we walk up and we're in line, and she looks at a cast member and orders. You're ordering a burger, and I was ordering a chicken sandwich. So you order them, and you say,
"Well, since I
by the way, I have a question."
Yeah, since I ordered first, I was like, "Hey," and I do not unfortunately remember his name, but I was like, "Hey, Jeff."
Lloyd.
Oh, you do remember?
I do.
Okay. I was like, hey, Lloyd, I have a question. I have a weird question. And he was like, yeah. And I said, do you have a secret menu? He turns around and says, hang on. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I just was blown away because I'm like, he's legit. Like, he's serious. Like, I'm thinking he's going to look at me like I'm retarded.
So what does he do? Lloyd goes and he gets he gets the
I don't know,
chef.
he goes away and somebody comes back with this briefcase.
Yeah, so they come back and there is an aluminum briefcase. And they pull us aside and they open it up. And if you want to see the pictures, you can go to our Facebook page or go to Twitter at Main ST Magic because we have the pictures posted there. So they come and they open this briefcase. And inside are old school viewfinders. There's a couple of them. There's blue and there's red. And they hand one to each of us. And as you look in the viewfinder and you click the little side tab, it shows you the menu that is secret.
It's ridiculous. Crazy.
So on this particular secret menu is a bacon cheeseburger with a cinnamon bun roll.
Which did not sound good.
There is a hot dog smothered in bacon mac and cheese.
Which again did not sound good.
And then there's poutine.
Ooh.
So we decide, we're going to get the poutine off the secret menu. So we watch, the chef comes out, he's preparing it, he's got, he's grabbing the fries and frying them right fresh and grabbing out the cheese curds and pouring the gravy on. So we get our items, we still have the chicken sandwich, the burger, and the poutine, and everything was amazing. The poutine was outstanding.
And didn't we go through a cast member, specifically Alex?
So we go through and we check out with Alex.
Nothing special, just
No, but
we talk to him.
But he's extremely nice.
Right.
He notices, I think, that we got a special menu item, and we're like, we kind of talk about it a little bit. Great guy. We go out, we eat, delicious. So we go ahead and we head back to the room, and then, of course, Ron and the kids want dessert. So we figure, what are you going to do? Just make a third trip down to the food court? Why not? We're at Disney.
Yep.
We weren't that far. We're actually in the building closest.
We were very close. Yep.
So I at this point I'm streaming the Duke basketball game on the TV in the room. Always bring an HDMI cable if you have a laptop or whatever, because you can go ahead and plug that into the TV and stream Netflix or ESPN or whatever you want. So Ron and the girls decide to head down and get dessert. And then what happens?
Well, first of all, I will say again, back to quote unquote not liking the All-Stars. Their food court and their
it's not bad.
What do they call that thing? Where it's all big. I mean, you don't call it the food court,
right? I mean, the whole hall, the whole lobby, the whole.
Oh, that's what it's called.
It's the initial, check-in.
Right.
Yeah.
They have, amazing food and options.
Yeah, several locations in different areas. So you can get everything from sandwiches to pizza to
and so they have
the fried chicken. It's not bad.
Well, they have this also dessert counter.
Yes,
and there was tons of cupcakes. Which the night before when we had dinner, I believe you and I got the pumpkin cheesecake, which was fantastic.
It was amazing.
I can't remember what the girls got. I'm sure they got something, but there's all these cupcakes. There was the cheesecake.
They got that.
They got the sundae.
The giant
That's right.
sundae.
That's right.
Yeah, size of their head.
Right, and they had milkshakes there, and so this was this whole dessert.
Alcoholic milkshakes. Even.
Yeah, this was this whole dessert place. So I go over and I'm like, I want this cupcake. So we get one, and instead of getting the girls one, I was like, well, why don't you get this? And they have Mickey bar ice creams and all this. Well, they actually picked, I don't remember who's on the outside of it, but it is an orange cream ice cream bar.
Yeah.
So Alex, actually, same guy that checked us out, was not busy. So we go through his, and I was with the girls, and, just being unfortunately outspoken like I am, I was like, hey, look, it's Alex again. And I can't remember what one of the girls said. I think they may have said, because, they're young, and they're like, do you know him? And I'm like, yeah, he's my best friend. And he looks at my girls, and he goes, you know why I'm her best friend? Because this is all free. You're good. And I'm like, wait, what? No, and I'm like, you're kidding. And he's like, no, go ahead. And I'm like, oh my God, Alex, thank you. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm still walking away. As we're leaving, we're both, all three of us girls are like, and oh my gosh. And Kaylin's like, oh my, we just couldn't believe it. Because we got not just one giant over $5 cupcake, then each girl got a ice cream bar that, was $3 to $4 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I swear we walked out of there for $15 free, and I was just stunned.
Yeah. And again, I bet, I wasn't there, but I bet Alex enjoyed that as much as you
I hope
did.
so, because it was incredible.
Yeah, so, it's so funny because you guys walk in the room and you're like, guess what these cost? And I'm like, free? And you're like, yeah. I was like, no, seriously. They're like, no, all of it was free. So it just, and again, everything was the mint chocolate chip cupcake.
Oh, it was so good.
It was so very good. But again, it was like, and I think that goes to show that, we went last year on our anniversary to the Keys of the Kingdom tour. And I remember our guide ending that tour basically saying, look, cast members have name tags for a reason. That it means so much when you interact with them and you call them by name. So we make it such a point now that if we can, even if it's just walking through a Fast Pass line or, a cast member waving hello, that if we can, we will respond to them by name. And I'm not saying you do that to get free stuff. You know, that's not what it's about. But it will create as much magic for them as it will for you. And we saw that this trip. I mean, look at what we did. Like, again, you go back to Stuart and the bracelets. That situation could have been handled very differently on either end, and everybody could have been miserable. But Stuart was amazing. We treated him with kindness. We didn't treat him like, oh, hey, you're a Disney employee. You owe us something. Like, we're paying you money. You make this bracelet. Everybody treats each other with respect. And in the end, everybody's so happy. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to get that extra Disney magic. And I feel like we see it, like, every trip. You know, and so, again, going on from that, one of the things I talk about all the time is Disney first. And we have a Disney first every time we go. And our Disney first is not getting free dessert. You know, it wasn't even seeing La Nouba. I think our Disney first was going to Animal Kingdom on Sunday. And we tend to spend our last day at Animal Kingdom. And the only reason why is because when the 60-day Fast Pass window comes out, the earliest time I can ever get Flight of Passage is our last day. So I always get Flight of Passage afternoon last day. So we're doing Animal Kingdom. So we get to Animal Kingdom. Kids actually get up a little bit early. We get out of the room and we head there. And I go, first of all, and I ride Everest back-to-back single rider. I go from first row to last row, which was cool.
Only because the girls were weird.
Yeah, they were being weird this trip.
Ridden it before.
Would not, for some reason. But, so we decided, all right, we're going to head over towards Dinosaur. Because we had a Fast Pass for that. Mm-hmm. So go to Dinosaur, broken down. Breaks down probably once, twice a day. We happen to be there during that time. They give us a free Fast Pass. As we come out, we have to kill a little bit of time before the Boneyard dig site opens, which kids absolutely love. Giant playground. You get to go on the other side and you get to dig for fossils, and you're digging through, I don't know what they are. They're small pebbles. But, so it opens at 10 a.m. One thing we have never been there for is when it opens at 10 a.m.
Correct. And
what happens at 10 a.m.?
Well, the funny thing was there's a line. And I was like, really? Why is there a line?
It's not even a ride.
Right. And then Disney, in my opinion, is very on time, if not early.
Yeah.
So, you know, I look at my Apple Watch and it legitly says, you know, like 10:02 or 10:03. And I think I looked down one more time and it was 10:05. And I'm like, all right, what the heck's going on? And all of a sudden there was Donald Duck starting to walk past us.
In full, like, dig site gear, like, had on the green vest and the explorer hat, like, very Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, but which is normal because he's at Animal Kingdom. So here I'm thinking, okay, here he is. He's walking by and with a cast member, and so he's high-fiving all the kids. Well, I'm like, girls, go up there. Go ahead, high-five him, whatever, because I'm thinking he's going to leave. So I'm trying to take these pictures. Yeah. Well, next thing we know, the cast member says, Donald, are you ready to open the dino dig site? What? So he does this whole, like, it's like the first time it's ever open, like a cutting of the ribbon. Yeah. And you stay in that line, and you follow Donald all the way through over actually to where the girl's favorite part is the dig site. And he stood there, and you got not only PhotoPass pictures, which were the way the sun and that time in the morning were incredible. Perfect. And then instead of, like, if the girls, which we didn't, or if somebody else wanted them to sign a book or something, instead of him doing that, he literally gave out a shovel that is the same shovel as to dig with, except the difference is he, with a Sharpie, signed his name.
Yeah, these were not like pre-printed
No,
shovels.
these were signed.
They were literally signed by a Sharpie by Donald.
And then the funny part was, of course, is when the kids went to go dig, the cast members were like, "Don't dig with it.
Yeah.
Don't dig with it. Hand them to your parents." And I'm
Yeah.
all like, "Give me that. Give me that."
Yeah.
So
it was one of those things that, and I've never, I mean, again, I consider myself a giant Disney nerd. I feel like I know a lot about Disney. I had no clue that went on. So to experience that was incredible, and that's something that I don't think people know is going on. So if there's, I mean, take one takeaway hopefully from this episode: get to Animal Kingdom, line up 9:45 outside of the dig site, and you're gonna get a once in a lifetime photo of Donald, with your kids, and you're gonna actually open the dig site, which was it was amazing. So we finished that day off. The only other thing I want to mention is the buffalo chicken chips that we had at Trillo Bites outside of Dining Land, which I'd seen, and we did laps just waiting for that to open at 11 o'clock. So we tried out some other things, and we went and we finally got those. Incredible. It's not a snack credit, but I think it was $7.99. Well worth it. Like, it could be a meal. We finished off our normal time at Flight of Passage in the afternoon, and we came home. So we're kind of counting down the days now to our next trip. This was cool that, unfortunately, John was not able to join me on this trip review. As he mentioned in the next episode that his daughter got a little bit sick and they had to head home early from this trip. So we ended up kind of flying this one solo with our family. So we definitely missed them out there.
We really did.
And we're glad that Gianna's doing much better.
She's good, and she's just still a little tired, but hey, that's okay because she's good.
Yes.
And we love them.
Yeah, and we're excited. So again, in December, we're going to overlap our trip again, which was completely unplanned. But we'll have another great trip review after next month. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. As we record this, I'm waking up early in the morning. I'm heading down to Hollywood Studios myself for the day. Another little solo trip to check out Star Tours as Rhonda rolls her eyes at me. But again, everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been so much fun. Thank you for being on this episode. I hope you will do this again.
Yeah.
We'll have to get Michelle on an episode. Maybe we can do me, you, John, and Michelle all in one episode. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's one. Yeah, maybe it's when we talk about like an adults only trip. So we'll see. But thank everybody for listening. And listen, if you're gonna go out to iTunes and subscribe, you might as well leave us a rating and review. And if you're gonna follow us, check us out at Main ST Magic on Twitter, on Facebook. That's all I got for now. We'll see you real soon.